heavy carnage. Don't be dismayed. I know you think that your dreams and everything that you hope for seem to be late. Looks like your problems don't seem to go nowhere. Just take a deep breath. People talk about you, it's got you feeling down and really stressed. Don't tell me you don't know the trouble that I've been going through. You self don't know, see, the same thing they go through, me self and they go through too. Who told you the lie? When you fall, it's the end of your life. I heard a whisper from above. I pray it opens up your eyes. Broken pencils still write, so keep on writing. And fallen soldiers still rise, so keep on fighting. One day you'll lift up your eyes to the skies and your light will be shining. One day you will win. One day you will win. Broken pencils still write, so keep on writing. And fallen soldiers still rise, so keep on fighting. One day you'll lift up your eyes to the skies and your light will be shining. One day you will win. Yeah. One day you will win. Now snap on it. News around this life is not fair. Greed is all we see. You gave your heart to the wrong folk, they broke it, and now you put it on free. Fake life on Instagram and Snapchat got you feeling ungrateful. My sister, if you could see the real them, you know you are being a great fool. You wrote a paper and failed. Sit down and write it again. One day you will kill him. He broke your heart and you cried. Give love another try. True love will heal him. I'm not trying to look down on your problems. No. I know say you don't know how you sabi solve them. Allow me to introduce you to someone I know. He's a specialist in handling cases and issues we don't blow. If you fell, just rise. If you fell, just rise. If you fell, just rise. Wipe the tears from your eyes. If you fell, just rise. If you fell, just rise. Wipe the tears from your eyes. If you fell, just rise. If you fell, just rise. Wipe the tears from your eyes. If you fell, just rise. If you fell, just rise. Wipe the tears from your eyes. Broken pencils to write. Keep on writing.
This is Star Radio UK.
Keep on fighting, yeah. One day you lift up your eyes to the skies and your light will be shining, yeah. One day your wedding bells ring.
Global Real Estate Wealth Summit with Dr. Olumide Emmanuel will be happening live in October in the city of the United Kingdom. It will be an event like none other. One day, 8 speakers, 10 sessions. Date, Saturday 14th October 2023. Register now to qualify for the 30% discount offer. Visit www.olumideemmanuel.org/GrewUK to register or call the hotlines 074-231-55486 or 020-322-30800.
Girl Bebe Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur, and the host of your weekly business show, Bebe Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Get ready for this.
Hey, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's your girl, Bebe Clement, and once again, you are very, very welcome to the Bebe Means Business Show. I hope you've had a great week. I have, and I've got lots to share with you. I want to thank you, first of all, for those of you who tuned in last week, where we did part 2 of our walk through the book of Proverbs. Listen, the feedback regarding that show has been amazing. People who don't even, have no religious inclination at all, but they're into business and they were encouraged to go and read the book of Proverbs has been fantastic. So I'm really glad about that. And I can't recommend it enough. Honestly, I can't recommend that book enough. I have found that a lot of the books, the successful books on business that have sold millions, have their roots in biblical principles, particularly in the book of Proverbs. So if you're an entrepreneur or you're in business of any kind and you've never read the book of Proverbs, listen, let me encourage you to go do it. You will be so pleased that you did. Okay, so for those of you who are joining us for the very first time, I'm your host, Bebe Clement, and I'm here every week from 1:30 to 2:30 to give you tips, advice, knowledge, assistance on anything and everything to do with business and entrepreneurship, wealth creation, how to become financially free, and how to leave a legacy that you can be proud of for your children and your children's children. Now today, I got something special. Now, as most of you who have been watching for the last few months, you'd have seen that I've been heavily promoting an event that's coming up in October. And today I have 2 of the speakers at that event on the show. Now, they've both been on the show before, but they're going to be speaking in slightly different context today. So I want you to help me join in welcoming to the show again, returnees to the show, Dr. Lumide Emmanuel.
Thank you.
Hi. And Bimbola Osage, the JV Queen.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone.
Okay. All right, now we got a lot to get through. So I'm going to ask that you keep your answers succinct because I want to make sure that we get through enough. And the whole point of this show is to give our listeners and our viewers a foretaste of the Real Estate Summit, the Wealth Real Estate Summit that's coming up on the 14th of October in the UK, in London. So we want to give them a little taste of what they can expect at the whole day seminar, what they can expect. So we want to give them a little bit of a foretaste today, some nuggets, if you will, as to what they can expect. Okay, so I've got a whole lot of questions. So not everybody knows who you are. So if you could give me a quick background, emphasis on the quick, a quick background of how you got into property. Dr. Olumide, you go first. How did you get into property?
Okay, well, my name is Olumide Emmanuel. I'm the CEO of the Common Sense Group, 9 companies with global footprints. One of the major things we do is real estate. I got into real estate as a result of my own personal desire to create wealth. When I became frustrated in 1997-98 about my financial situation, I began to study about the lives of rich and wealthy people, and I realized that over 90% of rich and wealthy people have their wealth either created through real estate or retained through real estate. And that made me to realize that real estate is a vehicle of wealth creation and retention. And if you do what successful people do, you'll become successful. So I decided to follow in that footstep and it's been an amazing journey.
Okay. Thank you very much. Bimbola, what happened to you? You have an epiphany?
Wow. Similar. Much younger. I had the same. I read a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I got to know money and how they stay wealthy. And I started my journey of property in 2008, just slowly building up my portfolio. And then fast forward the 15, 16 years down the line, I went into full-time, just building, and not necessarily just building my personal portfolio, but helping other people to build wealth. So currently, I call myself the queen of joint venture, where I bring a lot of people together to get them into property. So nothing matter how much you have, we can get a piece of the real estate world. So that's what I major on. I'm so looking forward to showing people how to, buy property from very little money, turning what you have and maximizing your current portfolio, and literally just making your money work so hard for you. I feel like not having money is not an excuse at all when it comes to investing. There's always a way, and I'm always available and very passionate about helping our community to build wealth through real estate. So I really look forward to this show, and I look forward to the 14th of October. Thank you.
Yes, and we always love hearing from you. Just a second, but I'm not sure if you're aware, but the connection seems quite poor. We're struggling slightly to hear you. I'm not sure if there's anything you can do to rectify that, but yeah, just to let you know. Okay, so Dr. Lumide, you said something which I think is important actually. You made a distinction there between creating wealth and retaining wealth. And one of the things that I've been doing over the last few years is I've been taking a millionaire to lunch. So I've got all these millionaires lined up, and I take them to lunch, and I just pick their brains basically, and hopefully I'm going to turn it all into a book, turn my findings into a book. But one of the things that I found, just like you said, is that every single one of them, bar none, even if they didn't make their money in real estate, have diverted into a very healthy property portfolio. What do you think it is that makes property more attractive than some of the other vehicles that we know for wealth creation, such as crypto, shares, stocks, the financial markets, and all those kind of things, which are great, nothing wrong with those, and I would encourage our listeners to get into those. But what is the attraction, particularly in relation to retaining wealth, that property investment holds, Dr. Lumide?
Well, majorly because real estate is the only real investment. Real estate is tangible. Everything you have on earth can increase. We have stopped creating land. The only land that exists is the only land that will ever exist. Think about it. When the earth was created, there were only two people on earth. However, the Creator created just one earth. Right now, we have over 8 billion people on the same earth. So land does not increase in size. It will only continue to increase in value. And if you study real estate very well, you'll find out that out of all the other different vehicles of wealth creation, stock market can crash, crypto can crash, businesses can go bankrupt. The only thing that will never fail when done right is real estate, because it's tangible and visible. So that's why a lot of people, as a matter of fact, it is the only vehicle of wealth creation that is also a vehicle of wealth retention. Even if you buy artifacts and you buy paintings, they can steal it. You can't steal land. It's not movable. You can't come and carry somebody's land and run away with it. So it is the only vehicle of wealth creation that is also a secured vehicle of wealth retention. And if you say somebody is rich and wealthy, wealth is not cash-based, it's asset-based. And that's why everybody has their money in real estate to retain their wealth.
Wow. Okay. So you would say, Bimbola, would you say that property investment is recession proof? Because I'm sure there's some listeners who remember 2008 and probably never recovered from that may beg to differ. What would be your opinion on that?
So I would actually say property is recession proof, and the reason why I say that is, especially what tends to happen is during a recession, when the economy is unstable, interest rates are all over the place, cost of living is high, and so on and so forth. The property market itself might feel a bit of a shaking, but what I tend to say is, if I'm not looking to sell in that market, I can actually hold tight on and then ride the wave. So it's one of those investments that you can, or asset class that you can actually ride the wave. You can sit on it. One thing I love about property, especially during the recession, is the fact that even though the house prices may come down or even crash, rental market never crashes. I've never seen that in the time that I've been investing. The rent market continues to go up. So what tends to happen is the rent will still go up. If you're an investor, you have a property, even if the sale value is gone down, the rental value continues to increase. And if you sit on it and you don't sell during the time of recession, you ride the wave and you're still back on top. So that's what I mean by recession. Obviously, it's important that you also buy at a really good price as well. Most of the properties that kind of go or fall during recession are probably properties that have been bought at a very high price, loans that are over leveraged. If you buy right, if you buy with a good means of the leverage from the bank, even through a recession, you will still come through it. So that's one of the reasons why I really, really like property. You can hedge against inflation as well with property. You can diversify. There's a lot of tax advantages in real estate compared to any other asset classes. And of course, the stable cash flow that you get month in, month out is fantastic.
Okay. All right. You said a word there. One of your pet words, people that are into investment property always have that word, leverage. And I really want to talk about that because that was one of my questions. But we're going to take a quick break now. And then when we come back, I want to ask you, what does leverage mean and how do we use it? Don't go away.
Global Real Estate Wealth Summit with Dr. Lumide Emmanuel will be happening live in October in the city of the United Kingdom. It will be an event like none other. One day, 8 speakers, 10 sessions. Date, Saturday, 14th October 2023. Register now to qualify for the 30% discount offer. Visit www.olumideemmanuel.org/GrewUK to register or call the hotlines 074-231-55486 or 020-322-30800.
Go from employee to entrepreneur, and the host of your weekly business show, Bebe Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Get ready for this.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's your girl, Bebe Clement, and you are tuned in to the Bebe Means Business Show, where we discuss anything and everything to do with money, wealth creation, business, and entrepreneurship. And today, it is my utmost honor to have on the show Dr. Olumide Emmanuel and Bimbola Osage, who are property investors extraordinaire. Listen, if you haven't registered for the Global Real Estate Wealth Summit, you need to do that today. You need to do that today because tickets are selling fast. We're running out of space. We have very, very limited space for that event. And so I'd encourage you to register today. Both of the speakers are going to be speaking at that event, and you're getting a foretaste for free. You see, don't say I don't do anything for you. You're getting a foretaste for free about what you can expect when you come along to the Global Real Estate Wealth Summit. All right, Bimbola, just before the break, you used the word leverage, and we hear this all the time when it comes to property investment. Can you explain the concept of leverage in real estate, and how can it be used to build wealth?
Cool. So let me just start by a simple definition of leverage. Very simple. Anyone can understand. So leverage is basically you using something that you have to gain or to achieve something better than you have. That's a simple term. So in property, very simply put, if I had a little bit of money, i.e. my deposit, and I want to buy a property, I can use my deposit and leverage the bank's money. So I go to the bank and say, look, I'm interested in this property. I've got this amount of money and I want you to give me the rest of the money so I can buy this property. Of course, you need to be eligible. You need to have a good, they need to understand and be happy that you can afford it. But once the bank is happy that you can afford it, they can then give you the remaining. So if you have 10%, you can leverage with the bank's 90%. Unlike any other asset class or any other investment where you have to have 100% of the fund. With property is so amazing. You come in with your deposit, and then the bank gives you the remainder for you to actually own this property 100%. For me, that is the best thing when I can talk about leverage in terms of property. Literally, simply put, that is the best way to get into the property market. You come in with something, and then the bank gives you the rest. And then you own, and then you take advantage of everything. Literally, 100% profit is yours, even though you've got 90% of the bank's money. And sometimes even that 10%, you can even borrow that 10% where you literally have none of your money in the deal. So you literally leverage everybody's money to be able to make this money, which is amazing.
Wow. Other people's money. Did you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? You can become wealthy leveraging other people's money. You don't have to have no skin in the game and still become wealthy. Even when you come along to the Global Real Estate Wealth Summit, we will show you how to do that. We can only give you tidbits today. But Bimbola will be on hand, and with Dr. Lumide and a host of other speakers, and they will show you how to do that. Going to walk you through the process. You do not need hundreds of thousands of pounds to become wealthy via property investment. You can leverage other people's money. Thanks for that, Bimbola. Dr. Lumide, at the summit, we're going to be looking at real estate in different countries, in the UK, in America, in the UAE, and in Nigeria. From your experience in those 4 jurisdictions, what advice would you give somebody who's based in the UK, for instance, who's never been to the UAE or who has never been to Nigeria, but does want to invest in those areas? What advice would you give by way of pitfalls to avoid?
Well, pitfalls to avoid would be to ensure that you investigate before you invest. Most of the time, people get into investment out of emotion, out of incomplete information, and then they get in there and discover that the investment they have made does not line up with their financial goals and expectations. So you need to make sure you investigate before you invest, because when people come to us to seek financial coaching, we ask them specific questions to determine what kind of investment we're going to offer them. Question 1 will be, what is your investment goal? Why do you want to buy property in the UAE? Why do you want to buy property in Nigeria? Why do you want to buy property in America? You need to have a goal. We need to know what your goal is. Do you want to buy property just to own an asset? Do you want to buy it for cash flow? Do you want to buy it for retirement? We need to know. Number 2, how much do you have to invest? We need to know that. Number 3, how much risk are you willing to take? And then number 4, how long do you have? So once we have all this detailed information, it will help us to be able to guide you. So the most important thing is make sure you do your due diligence, because that's a major pitfall that a lot of people fall into. I give you an example. I have bought properties in some countries where the return on the investment is good, but I did not know all the other expenses I will have to pay. It's like buying a standalone property is different from buying a flat, and it's different from buying a house in a housing association or community. So apart from owning the house, you still be paying association, you pay for this, you pay. At the end of the day, I have a property in one country and I get 7,500 of that country's money, but every month I pay 4,300 and I'm left with less than 4,000. 4,300 goes to housing association, local government, local municipal, all kinds of stuff. And when I wanted to buy, I asked the guy, what are the expenses? He told me expenses are about 1,500. So I thought I would be getting 6,000 every month, but now I'm getting less than about 3,200. So you need to do your due diligence before. That's the major pitfall. Get all the facts before you invest anywhere in the world.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. So that you heard that, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you do your due diligence. No matter the advice that you get, make sure you do your own due diligence. Right down to the last penny so that you know exactly what you are paying for. And that's just one aspect. There's some other aspects that you need to watch out for, look out for, that you need to make sure that you are aware of before you invest in those jurisdictions. Okay. Bibula, how do you assess the potential return on investment of a real estate property?
So the way that I assess that is based on how much I've put in. So there's a term called the return on investment. And this is where I love leverage so much, because if I've been able to just put in 10% of my money in a real estate opportunity, what I get back in my return per year, let me put some figures in. So let's say I put in £10,000 into this opportunity, and then every month I'm making £1,000 return. Obviously, over the course of it, that's 12,000 for the quad. If I'm putting in 10K and I'm getting 12K, that's over 100% return on investment. But if I were to use some more realistic figures, so let's just assume I put in £50,000 and I get £1,000 profit every single month. Over a year, that's £12,000. So my return on investment is literally the £12,000 divided by £50,000 that I put in, and then do the percentage of that. So the higher that figure is, the better the deal is. Which is why when you're looking at opportunities, you want to make sure that you're buying in a good location, you're not overspending on the purchase price, and you're getting a lot of return back as well. Like the preliminary just explained. If you thought you were getting 1,000 or more, and in reality you're only getting like 900, that's not a good return on investment. So you need to be able to do your numbers, do your due diligence, which is some of the things that being on the program on the 14th and doing the mentorship is going to be able to help people to, how to calculate their return on investment. Because just buying a property is not necessarily always the best return. You might be able to get good appreciation over time, but you also want to have that initial cash flow every single month. You want to be, you never want to be in minus every single month. You want to always be in positive. And so that's how you calculate your return on investment. Your profit over the year versus how much you put in.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Are there any specific market trends or emerging opportunities in the property investment space that investors should be aware of? Because things are moving so quickly, it's unreal. So are there any specific market trends that either of you have identified that, or emerging opportunities that you think, yes, it's important that people know what they are?
Well, basically, okay, you can go ahead, Bimbo.
I was just going to say that actually in today's market, so right now there's it's high interest rate everywhere, and everyone is complaining everything is expensive. But I actually see an opportunity in today's market, and the opportunity that I see is if I'm able to find and do my research and find opportunities even with, let's say, 7% return, like 7% interest rate. If I'm able to get a good deal that cash flows in today's market, I encourage people to jump in there, because what would happen is eventually the interest rates will eventually go down at some point, which it does. It's a cycle, isn't it? So by the time the interest rates go down, you are now going to be even more positive. So I don't necessarily think that because the market is unstable, people should run away from investing. I would say actually if you can get in there while the market is high, get in as long as you're in profit. Because at some point when the tide turns, you could easily double your profit when the interest rates almost double. You know what I mean? I just wanted to share that quickly.
Yeah. Okay, that's all let me get.
Yeah, because we are going to be using this event to help people understand different possibilities, especially with reference to the United States, UAE, Nigeria, and the UK. People need to understand that in a place like UAE, the opportunity is massive because you're able to get a property and then you continue to get an income because of the tourism potential of the country and the limited accommodations that are available. So people need to understand that just staying in one place may not be enough. You need to spread your investment to different nations. Apart from that, if you look around, you find out that service apartments are becoming very, very lucrative right now, especially in the UK. Right now, is a renters are everywhere looking for properties. because loads of people, students from Nigeria, from India, from China, so there are loads of people all over the UK that are looking for rental properties. And that's something we need to look into. Then commercial property is also what we need to understand is a very, very massive opportunity to go into commercial property. And then to go into development. A lot of people don't realize that by the time you buy land and build your own apartment by yourself, you're going to be making money on multiple dimensions. You make money when you buy the land, you make money from the building, you make money from the sales of the building, you make money from the management of the building. And then one of the uniqueness of this event also is that we're going to be opening you up to different opportunities. And that helps you to also realize that you can actually buy properties cash. You can buy properties cash and buy cheap properties by using a combination of the joint venture. So 7-10 people come together. So if 10 people come together and put £10,000 together, that's £100,000. You can now buy £100,000 property cash, and that eliminates all this interest rate stuff. And then you can also now apply the service apartment, and then you are good to go. So this is an event that gives you all the different possibilities. It's like a buffet, and then you're able to choose where to play at the end of the day.
Okay. Well, one of the things that I have found to be a selling point of this particular seminar is the 90-day mentorship afterwards. I mean, it doesn't get any better. Dr. Lumide, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Now, most of the time people go to event, they hear amazing stuff, and then when they get back home, they are stuck. They want to ask questions, they can't reach the speaker. They want to get 1 or 2 counsel and get clarification, they can't reach the speaker. That's why we decided to do this. To say once you attend this event, 90 days after, all the speakers will be available to give you clarity, to help clarify, to help guide, so that you'll be able to make the right decisions as a result of what you have learned. Because some people will come, they will need to get back and talk to their spouse, they will need to get back and talk to their partner, to get back and talk to them, and they need clarity. So that mentorship is more expensive than seminars.
Yeah.
So what we have done is to make the mentorship free for 90 days so that you can come for the seminar. And that's why anyone that misses this opportunity, for instance, I don't mentor people for less than $10,000. And then I'm going to be available for 90 days for free. So you can do the maths. Wow.
He doesn't mentor people for less than 10K. He doesn't get out of bed for less than 10K. So guys, don't miss this opportunity. Don't miss this opportunity. You've heard from Bimbola Osagi as well. We have a load of other speakers on the day that will, we've talked about service apartments. There's a lady who's making huge waves in that space. She's going to be sharing how she's doing it. You're going to hear from Clement. He's also going to be telling you all the legal pitfalls to avoid when you're going into property, because you do have potential ones. So you need to make sure you know how to navigate your way around that. All the guidance that you need, it will be there for you on the day. 90 days. I can't overemphasize this. 90 days free mentorship. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. I had a gentleman approached me the other day and who registered for the event. He said it wasn't the event. He said, I've been for loads of seminars on property. It was the 90-day mentorship that did it for me. And so he's coming along. So don't miss this opportunity, because it will not be repeated. So make sure that you come along. And besides, ladies and gentlemen, things are moving so quickly. You literally don't know what's going to happen. You can see all the global events that are occurring. You don't know what's going to happen from day to day, literally from day to day. So the opportunities for you to become financially free are honestly becoming fewer and fewer. The top 1% of the world, they're sorting themselves out. They're covering up the rest of the world for themselves. You have got to get in there while you still have an opportunity to do something about your financial situation. Okay, we're going to take another quick break now. And when we come back, I've got some more questions for my wonderful and able guests. And they're going to be enlightening us a bit more on the property space. See you in a moment.
The Global Real Estate Wealth Summit with Dr. Lumide Emmanuel will be happening live in October in a city of the United Kingdom. It will be an event like none other. 1 day, 8 speakers, 10 sessions. Date, Saturday, 14th October 2023. Register now to qualify for the 30% discount offer. Visit www.olumideemmanuel.org/GrewUK to register or call the hotlines 074-231-55486 or 020-322-30800.
Hi everyone, it's your girl Bebe Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, Bebe Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Get ready for this.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are tuned in to the BB Means Business Show, and today we are having a foretaste. I am giving you, on a platter of gold and for free, a foretaste of the event of the year, the Global Real Estate Wealth Summit 2023 that is coming up on the 14th of October in London. In London. If you have to fly in, fly in. If you have to fly in on your broom, fly in. But don't miss this. Don't miss this event, because this is life-changing, and I don't use that phrase often, but this is a life-changing event. If you're serious, people talk, but if you're serious about changing your financial situation, then you've got to get off your butt and do something about it. And this is an opportunity for you to do that. Not only are you going to have access to all these amazing speakers who are ordinary people like you and I. It's nice sometimes listening to people like Richard Branson, but a lot of us can't relate to people like that. God bless his soul. But when you are in the room with ordinary people who come from the same kind of background as you, who were not born with a silver spoon in their mouth, didn't have any, major opportunities. It was just through sweat, grind, and a desire and a hunger to do more, to be more, to go further, that got them to where they are. And they became a success in the property space. Listen, you've got to be in the room. They say that a rising tide lifts all boats. Just being in the room can revolutionize your thinking, because a lot of what keeps us poor is to do with what's going on in here. So if you want to change that, be around people who have become successful, and success leaves clues, and that's what they want to share with you. 14th of October in London. All the details are on the screen. We'll be giving you the registration details as well. It's not too late to register, so make sure that you do. And I have two of the speakers on the show today, and they're sharing absolute nuggets. Listen, guys, if they're sharing all this today for free, imagine what you're going to get at the summit. Just imagine what you're going to get at the summit. Okay, so let's move on very, very quickly. Dr. Lumide, you mentioned something about property management earlier on and how you got your fingers burned a little bit because all these other expenses were not mentioned. How important is property management in ensuring the success of real estate investment? And what tips can you offer for effective property management?
Okay, well, when it comes to property management, you have to do your research very well so that you will not get into trouble. Because most of the time, people don't know that managing the property will give you continual cash flow, but it can also become an headache. So you need to understand how it works. So I give you one or two instances. So for instance, I'll use Nigeria and then I'll use the US, just to give you two examples. So for instance, in Nigeria, in the last 2 years alone, the price of oil, what we call diesel and petrol and gas, has increased astronomically. So we have some estates in Nigeria where the property managers have said, in this estate, you can't use your individual generators. Everybody will pay a service charge. And then this service charge you're paying will take care of light, water, refuse disposal, and security. But right now, because of the price change, they find out that the service charge that they are charging people cannot even take care of 2 out of the 5 things they are charging people for. And they have to now tell people, you know what, it's either we increase the price, or you reduce the number of hours you will use electricity, or we'll have to then let you do things on your own. So many times people go into service apartment or go into managing properties without having all the details of what they will need to be responsible for. And you'll be amazed to also realize that sometimes in a place like Nigeria, not many people are going to pay at the same time. Some people will owe and owe and owe. That becomes the problem. Now, I give you an example of the US. You can be a property manager in the US, but because of the kind of laws that people have in the Western world, where sometimes people can hide under the law and be lazy, a staff can tell you, I have mental health issue and I'm not coming to work. And you can't diagnose mental health. So the person can choose not to come to work just because they say they have mental health issue. Somebody can say, oh, my leg is sprained and I'm still feeling pain. I can't come to work. So because of those kind of laws, you find that in the Western world, for instance, in the US, when you are managing properties for people, they may come up with 1 or 2 things that uses the loophole of the law. And then at the end of the day, you find yourself not being able to get the return that you think you're going to get. So what I tell people is, whatever aspect of real estate you want to play in, do your due diligence, do your research, ask questions, seek mentorship, seek guidance, so that when you are going in, you already understand all the possible scenarios and you have your plan in place before the problem comes.
Okay. People, do you want to add to that in any way?
I think that's all right. Let me say, Emmanuel covered it all. Due diligence is actually the key to success in property.
Okay. So what are the different types of properties that people can invest in? If I was starting out now, what kind of properties can I invest in? And what are the pros and cons of each? Either of you can go.
Yeah, it depends on your investment goal, like I said earlier on. So for instance, now, if you are a first-time buyer and you want to go into property investment where you also will be living in it, once you are going to be living there, it's no more a cash flow producing asset for you. So I had one of my mentees that is a young 26-year-old boy in Atlanta, wanted to go into real estate last year, and I asked him a simple question: do you want to buy this property so that you can park in there, or you want to use it for rental property? He said, no, you want something that you can live in and also rent out. So I said, if that's the case, then you need to look for an apartment that has a basement, where you can now use the basement for rental or Airbnb while you live at the top floor. And that's what he did last year. So in the last 1 year, he's been renting out his basement for Airbnb, and he's been making an average of $3,000 a month. And when we met for his 1 year mentorship, he told me now that he's about to buy the second one. And this was a 26-year-old boy. So if you want to start, I will advise you to buy something that is within your price range, that can give you good return, and that can fit your investment goal. So if you are a single family, you want to buy a single family home, fine. If you are buying a flat, it may be cheaper to get the flat, 1-bedroom flat, studio apartment, but the cost, once you are buying the flat, you are not the owner of the land. You are just the owner of the flat. That means the land is divided by all of you that own it, so you need to understand that also. If you are going into commercial property, you need to understand the pros and cons of commercial property. Then if you are going into a multi-family home, you also need to understand the pros and cons of that, because I have people that do, I have one of my mentees that does this multi-family home. So they have this apartment complex of about 86 properties that they rent out. But the challenge is that sometimes you don't have 86 people at the same time. Sometimes, even though they have 86 apartments, they have only 50 of them that are being rented. 20-something or 30 are vacant. But the beauty of that is that you can now leverage on the money paid by the 50-something tenants to cover for the 30 that are not paying. So it's just for you to know that whatever you want to do, follow those simple guidelines. What's your investment goals? And then once you identify your investment goal, then you look at the cash flow with reference to how much you are putting in.
Okay. So Wimbola, in the UK, we hear freehold, leasehold. What is the difference for somebody who's just starting out? What's the difference? And does it matter, for instance, if you have a 999-year lease, is it the same as a freehold?
Right. So I'll start with the difference. So when you're buying flats, They're typically leasehold because you're not buying the land, you're just buying the apartments on the land. When you're buying a house, however, because you're buying a house and the land is fixed on, you're buying a freehold. And there are advantages to both, to having both. I wouldn't say there's one that is better than the other. So with a leasehold, most times you have a leasehold would have a number of years in which the lease is valid. Typically it will be 99 years, it will be 199 years, or sometimes even of recent we have leasehold properties that are now being sold within 999 years, which I would pretty say is almost like a freehold because 900, that's 1,000 years right there. So it's almost as good as a freehold. You have some flats or apartments that are sold with a share of the freehold and a leasehold. I think the most important thing is to understand, what is your strategy? Do you want to keep this property for a couple of years and then sell it on? In which case, it wouldn't even matter whether you had 999 years or 20 years or 99 years or 120 years, because you're going to sell it on. If you're buying a freehold, however, you're buying it with the land. Typically, with a freehold, there are no other charges. If you bought the freehold, there are no charges. But when you buy a leasehold, typically service charges, ground rent that goes alongside the lease because you are not the owner of the freehold. People have and how much they're willing to. If you're going to buy a luxurious apartment in central London, it's not going to be a freehold. It's going to be a leasehold. So, flat, luxurious properties, it's always going to be a leasehold. If you're looking for homes in the suburb, a big nice house, that's going to be a freehold. So there's no right or wrong answer. It's just really allow you to buy, and what is your strategy, what is your goal for this property. They have advantages, and I wouldn't even call it disadvantages really, because you really just need to work the numbers into your calculation when you're buying a leasehold. But it just depends on what you want, and either way, it's fine. And the statistics to show that flats can sell quicker and get more value than houses, and vice versa. So it's literally what you want, and either way, it's fine.
Okay. Dr. Lumide, going back to the Global Real Estate Wealth Summit, can you actually talk us through what can we expect? What can our attendees expect? Talk us through what areas are we going to be covering?
Okay, in the Global Real Estate Wealth Summit, as we have publicized, it's a one-day event. There are 8 of us that will be speaking, and there are 10 sessions. Now, we're going to be looking into understanding your economic environment, because we need to understand the economic environment within which we operate. If you are in a communist economy, it's different from being in a socialist economy, it's different from being in a capitalist economy. And that's very, very important, so that if you want to go into real estate in any of those different economies, you factor that into whatever you are doing. Number 2, we're going to be looking into understanding the power of real estate investment, so that you will understand why real estate is the only real investment. You understand why real estate is above all other vehicles of wealth creation. We're going to be looking into creating wealth through property development. So one of us is going to be coming in, he's bought the land. I've been there with one of my mentees in Manchester, and he's going to be talking to us about real estate development, how you can buy land and develop properties and be able to, put resources together to make that happen. They're going to be looking into creating wealth through service, apartments, and shortlets. And one of the speakers is going to be talking to us about that, because that's what she's done over the years, and she's going to be using our own organization to help us do that. We're going to be looking into creating wealth through cheap properties in the UK and in the US. So there are cheap properties that people can buy. A lot of people in the UK don't know that they can buy a one-bedroom flat, a studio flat, for as cheap as 40,000, 50,000 pounds cash. And 5 people can come together and do that and start getting monthly income. We're going to be looking into how to assess lucrative deals for real estate before they go public. Many times, rich people get deals before the poor people do. Even in shares, we have private placement, we have public offer. The same thing goes on in real estate. Most of the time, the good deals are already bought before people move for sale. We're going to be telling you how to be able to do that. They're going to be using people's money to buy property. Kimbola will be sharing with us, and Venture Queen, the JV Queen, will be sharing with us on how to be able to use, other people's money and come together to buy property without your money. Then we have common legal mistakes to avoid. And then we're going to be looking to create a world through real estate in Dubai. And then there's going to be a panel session where we will all be seated and we'll be able to answer all the questions that people have, like an open coaching session, after which we're then going to give them 3 months, 90 days of post-event mentorship. It's an amazing opportunity that nobody should miss. There'll be conference materials, there'll be tea break, there'll be buffet lunch. I don't know the reason why anybody should miss it.
Okay, thank you. Listen, guys, you've heard it. I can confidently say there is nothing like it on the market right now. Like it. Especially with that 90 days. Especially with that 90 days. And if you think, and yes, the cost of it is £1,000, and that's fine. I understand that, things are not easy right now. But if you think that knowledge is expensive, you wait till they hand you the bill for ignorance. Till life hands you the bill for ignorance. You will be shocked. It is what you don't know that is keeping you tied to where you are. It's what you don't know that is keeping you in that job that you hate. Your boss can't stand you. You don't like your colleagues. It is what you don't know. You must have different income streams. You must have something that you could, if you want to, you could pick up your bag and you can tell them to stop their job. And this is one of the ways in which you can do it. One of the surest ways in which you can do it. So don't miss this opportunity. It doesn't come around often. Don't miss this opportunity. Okay, now, as you both know, AI is all the rage now. And it is, it is affecting practically every sphere of life. What role do you think that AI is going to play, if any, in property investment in the future? Either of you can go.
Okay. Well,
okay.
Number one, if you noticed recently, you realize that during COVID, China was able to build a house in 24 hours. Now,
yes, I remember.
Recently they were able to build an entire complex, 10-story building. That's the job of AI. AI, robotics, and we have robots building houses now. So one of the things that will be happening in real estate is we're going to be having a lot of houses delivered faster than they used to be. And that's one thing that will begin to happen. Then one other thing that AI will be doing with real estate is, as we move forward, there will be a lot of co-sharing spaces, co-living spaces, and fractional ownership. And in order to be able to manage this fractional ownership, what do I mean by that? If, for instance, we have a property that is £100,000, if we have 10 people bringing £10,000, they are going to be able to have 10% each of that property. But if we have people bringing just £100 each, that means 10,000 people can own that one property. So going forward now, with the technology of AI, we're going to be able to break real estate ownership into fractional level, where with £10, you can own a part of an hotel. With £10, you can own a part of an apartment complex, and you'll be getting a return for life. But the technology that will be able to manage that, will be able to put a blockchain technology together to manage 1 million, 3 million people owning just one house. So at the end of the day, even though all you brought in was £100, you can be getting £2 a year or £2 a month for the rest of your life as things go on. So AI is going to do a lot, but it will only make those that are in real estate richer, while those that are outside will continue to be spectators, and it is from them that money will be made to become richer.
Wow. Wow. They say if you're not invited to the table, you're probably on the menu. So, wow. Oh, man. Don't be on the menu. Invite yourself to the table. Listen, I want to say something, because I really, again, I got to address the mindset. Too many of us are fixated on our name or us being the owner of everything. Listen, you are better off owning 5% of something that is profitable than owning 100% of something that doesn't exist. If you keep saying, well, I don't have 100,000, I don't want to buy with other people, I want to just buy it on my own, I want to own it, you will stay there. Because how many people can afford, particularly in London, how many people can afford properties on their own in London? You need at least at least about 200,000, at least, I think, to buy a property. And how many of us have 200,000 sitting around? So that has been a deterrent. You'd be amazed, Bimbola in particular, you'd be amazed the number of people I speak to in the UK who are still saying to me, I'd really like to go into property, but I can't afford it. I can't afford it. And you say to them, listen, you don't have to buy on your own. There are other people that can, you can pull resources. I can show you someone who can do it. And then they shy away because we are fixated on my name has to be on it, it has to be mine. And so you die in your poverty rather than join with somebody else and own 10% of something that's profitable rather than 100% of something that is not. Okay. All right. I want to go on. Thank you, Dr. Lumide, for that. Actually, that's definitely something I'm going to look into. I never even thought about that. But yes, that's definitely something I'm going to look into. Okay. Can either of you discuss very quickly before we go the possible tax implications, particularly in the UK, of property investment and any strategies for optimizing tax benefit?
So I can go into that. Well, so possible tax implication, just like anything you invest in, once you've earned your money, you pay your income tax on the money, and then you can invest it and do whatever you want. If you invest that money into property, any income that you get from that property is also due to income tax. Or if you bought a property, that's if you buy in your personal name. If you buy a property in the name in a company, then of course that company is due to pay corporation tax. So you don't necessarily pay any more in taxes as a property investor. In fact, you pay less in taxes because you're able to offset some of your expenses before you're taxed on the actual profit. So actually, property investing has so many tax advantages. You will need to speak to a tax lawyer and a tax accountant to get the full picture. But it actually has more tax benefits than any other asset classes. And I always say to people, there's no real fear in paying taxes. I love being a taxpayer because it's the tax that I pay that helps the infrastructure. But you need to be able to earn a certain amount anyway to be able to pay tax. So you need to have a certain threshold for your investments to be taxable. And when the tax is due, it would typically be in line with what you would pay on any investment. But definitely for sure, property investing has more tax benefits than probably any other asset class.
Okay. Dr. Lumide, could you just tell us, recommend to us, I mean, Bimbola spoke about Reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Can you recommend to our listeners any resources or tools or educational materials for someone that's interested in getting started in property investment? I know you have a number of books as well. Anything that, you've come across that you think, yes, if I was starting out, I wish I'd had this to hand.
Well, I only recommend what I have. If you look at what I'm wearing right now, you see this is the Global Real Estate Executive Bootcamp, GREE. The Global Real Estate Executive Bootcamp. It's the smaller version that we are doing in the UK on the 14th. This was a 7-day fully residential event. That was $10,000 per person. And we had 62 people from all over the world. 4 people came from UK, 4 people from the US, 2 people from Qatar, 1 person from Dubai, from all over the world. So I have, to the best of my knowledge, the most robust curriculum on real estate anywhere in the world. So I would recommend, if you want to go into real estate, then you order for my Real Estate Executive Bootcamp manual. It's a master class. It's a massive manual with DVDs and audios and all the stuff. And there is an online virtual version of that also, where people can go online. The same email website, www.olumideimanuel.com/GREEB, GREEB, and then people can actually register to go through that entire curriculum. It's massive, over 52 different modules on different aspects of real estate on a global scale. And then it also comes with a lot of material that will help you. So that is what I would recommend. My material is the best material in the world.
Bimbola, you?
Well, of course. What I have to say, I bought when I came to my first meeting with Dr. Louis Emmanuel. I saw quite a number of books, and I bought one of them, and it was very, very comprehensive. It was as big as a dictionary, very, very comprehensive book about real estate. So I totally I would agree to what he said. In terms of in terms of my reading list, I read a lot of books. I actually do a lot of training when it comes to property. So I read a lot of different books from different people, investing in different strategies. I'm very open to a lot of real estate books out there. So I don't have anyone in particular.
Okay.
It's my own.
Okay, so we're
Yes.
all right, we're going to round up the show in a minute, and I cannot thank both of you enough for coming along today. It has been fascinating. I've learned some stuff as well. And once again, I cannot encourage you enough to make sure that you come along to our event on the 14th of October. All the details are there. If you can contact the studio or indeed contact me, and I will pass all the registration information and the link to you. But you don't want to miss this. You really don't want to miss this. Listen, this is not about us making money. On the contrary, this is about you getting the information that you need to become financially free. That's what we're about. That's what we're about. To ensure that you become financially free. That you don't just survive through yet another year. You know, many of us started this year yet again saying this is going to be the year. This is going to be the year. And here we are in September, and you're thinking, actually, it's not been the year. It's not been the year. It's not too late, ladies and gentlemen. It's not too late. Seize this opportunity with both hands, because it may not come around again. That's the honest truth. We don't know what's happening. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've seen a lot more people wearing masks in the UK in recent weeks. I don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going to happen. Seize the day. Carpe diem. Seize the day, because you don't know what is going to happen. You need to be able to leave something for your children and your children's children, so they don't have to go through what you went through. Okay, just as I round up, could you give me some final pieces of advice or words of wisdom for individuals looking to use property investment as a means of wealth creation?
My final word and final advice or tip for anybody is register for this event.
How did I know?
That's the only, if you want to start right, start knowledgeable, start informed, start with the right knowledge so that you will not go and make mistake. That's the word. And one thing I think I would want to do, if it's okay by you guys, is to give opportunity to people to still pay at the discounted rate. You know, the 30% discount. Yeah, 30% discount had expired, but since we're on your show, we need to give your audience a special. So anyone listening to us right now, we are going to be opening up the 30% discount for the next 7 days. So we'll give you 1 week. So within the next 1 week, you can pay £700 instead of £1,000. And then, because I'm passionate about families and marriages, and I want couples to grow together, if you are married and you are coming in with your spouse, if you are paying the £700, your spouse will pay £350. Your spouse will pay 50% of what you're paying. So that is 700 plus 350. That will be £1,050 for a couple. You have 7 days. Take advantage of that. Call Bebe, call the studio, and that's what I can do as a final one. This is where to start.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard that. You heard that. Don't say we don't do anything for you on the BB Means Business Show. Listen, that deal isn't happening anywhere else. Just because you're connected to me, you got your discount. That discount window has been opened even further for you. Don't miss it. Don't waste time. Don't miss it. Make sure you register ASAP. You got 7 days. You heard it here. 7 days with which to take advantage of that. And then we're closing it. That's it. People, any words of wisdom?
No, for me, it's just to reiterate the mentorship. So my life changed when I spent 3 days with my mentor. My literally journey into property, like I said, when I started, I was just buying property, not necessarily knowing what I was doing. And then I spent 3 days with my mentor, and it literally escalated my growth. Everything turned around for me, and that was 3 days. For those 3 days, that mentorship, I paid, plus my training, I paid about 15 to 20,000 pounds is what I paid for when I started. And I don't regret paying that money because I made a whole lot more. This thing, 700 with 90 days, 90 days with different speakers. It's amazing. For me, it's mind blowing, and that's all I can say. If anybody doesn't jump into it right now, I really don't know what else. I really don't know what else would do it for them. So that's it for me.
Okay. They say that some people make things happen, other people watch things happen, others don't even know what happened. Don't be part of the latter two. Make something happen for your life this year. Change the trajectory, the financial trajectory of your life, of your family's life forever. Come along to this event, get all the information that you need, and start 2024 with a renewed passion for life. Listen, a lot of the problems that we're going through, particularly as a community, have to do with finance. Marital breakdown, mental health issues, low self-esteem, a lot of it has to do with a lack of finance. You will be amazed how a change in your bank account will totally revolutionize the way you see life. It really will. So, we're giving you the opportunity to do that, and we hope that you will take advantage of it. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank my guest, Dr. Lumide Emmanuel, who's joining us all the way from Nigeria. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. People are saying, JV Queen, girl, we thank you for all that you're doing in our community, for all the lives that are becoming financially free as a result of what you are doing and how you're helping us and how you're showing us what to do. Don't miss this. We'll see you on the 14th of October. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Global Real Estate Wealth Summit with Dr. Lumide Emmanuel will be happening live in October in a city of the United Kingdom. It will be an event like none other. 1 day, 8 speakers, 10 sessions. Date, Saturday, 14th October 2023. Register now to qualify for the 30% discount offer. Visit www.olumideemmanuel.org/GrewUK to register or call the hotlines 074-231-55486 or 020-322-30800.
Hi everyone, it's your girl Bebe Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, Bebe Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.